So today I'm going to talk about recurrent colds along with one formula in Chinese medicine and kind of how that formula is composed and how it works. And the formula I'm going to talk about it's called Ping Feng San or jade windscreen powder. Jade windscreen powder. And this is a well-known formula in Chinese medicine. It's relatively famous. Um, and it's used for a variety of situations, but the case I'm going to talk about here is specifically for recurrent colds. So lots of people get recurrent runny noses or colds, and a lot of times we don't know what to attribute it to. You might see a doctor and they say, okay, you have allergies, or you just get runny noses all the time, and you're not sure if it's the pollen in the air or the change in season, or you got a viral bug, but it just happens to you frequently. Some people might have this happen to them on a daily basis or several days of the week that can last for several months of the year. And in Western medicine, we might not have a good reason as to why that happens. We might say it's allergies, although it's hard to pinpoint it down. And you might have to use different types of medications like antihistamines or injectable nasal spray of steroids. Those are some of the treatment options that can be used. But if not, you just have a runny nose and it's incredibly frustrating, and it can really impact your daily life and how much you're able to interact with other people, and you're always runny nose and blowing your nose, and it's uncomfortable. Now, in Chinese medicine, there's a lot of different reasons why this happens. And I think Chinese medicine really has a strong suit in treating recurrent runny noses or frequent runny noses or colds or allergies or however you want to call it from a Western medicine standpoint. And the approach that I wanted to talk about today was with jade windscreen powder. Now, jade windscreen powder or Yuping Feng San is composed of three herbs, Fang Feng, Huang, and Baizu. Now, two of these herbs, Huang Qi and Baizu, are herbs that help to strengthen the qi in the body. And it especially helps to strengthen the qi in the lungs and in the spleen. Huang Qi is one of the most important herbs to tonify the qi in the body, and it helps to build up the lungs. Now, in Chinese medicine, the exterior of our bodies and including the nasal passages are controlled by the lung organ. And that's a connection that we don't quite have in Western medicine. We know in Western medicine that some diseases like asthma and atopic dermatitis or eczema can be affiliated, and a lot of times there's overlap, but we don't have a clear connection between the lungs and the skin. But in Chinese medicine, there's a very clear connection. And in Chinese medicine, the lungs control the exterior and it controls the nasal passages. So Huang Qi is an herb that especially goes to build up the lungs. And it especially helps once the lung is built up and has good health, it can control the nasal passage better because that's one of its core duties. Now, the other thing about Guangxi is, like I said, it goes to the exterior into the skin. And one thing that a lot of people have who have recurrent colds and allergies and runny noses is in Chinese medicine, we say their exterior is deficient, meaning the exterior of their body, which is kind of that first line of defense in the body, is weak. And that first line of defense is what prevents pathogens and bad things from the outside entering into our body. One of the primary ways that happens is by controlling the nasal passages and protecting the inside of our body through the nasal passage, and also by protecting the exterior of our body through the pores on the skin. We all know that we have pores in the skin, they open and close. That's what allows sweat to come out. And it also closes and protects bad things and bacteria and viruses and other pathogens from coming into our body. And so when the lungs are weak, the pores of the body are also weak, and it makes us susceptible to get infections easier. That's also a lot of times why kids have frequent infections because they are their immune system is immature, their lungs are not at a mature strength yet, and so they are unable to control the pores as well, and they can get sick easier. And so that's how Huang Qi helps to support the immune system and help boost your ability to fight off colds and congestion and prevent you from having that runny nose problem regularly. Now, the second part of that formula is an herb called Bai Tzu. Now, this herb is an herb that specifically strengthens the spleen qi. Now, I said Huang Qi helps support the lungs, Bai Tzu helps supports the spleen. Bai Tzu is an herb that really supports the spleen qi, and the spleen is the organ in turn which helps to strengthen the lung. In Chinese medicine, every organ has another organ it supports, and the spleen is an organ that supports the lung. And so when you are using Baitu and building up the spleen chi, it then helps to supplement the spleen, which then has enough nourishment to then help the lung chi also be strong. So you need, if you want to have a good exterior, you need to have a strong lung chi, and that needs to be supplemented by the spleen. So you have Huang Qi, Baitu. Then the third herb in this formula is an herb called Fang Feng. And this is an herb that is especially intended to treat wind in the body. And it can be used for all kinds of wind, but especially also wind on the exterior. So I said earlier how the pores of the skin can be open and closed. And when they are weak, they don't open and close properly. It can allow pathogens to come inside. Now, Fang Feng is an herb that helps to get rid when pathogens come into the inside of the body. Fang Feng is an herb that helps to expel those pathogens, and in Chinese medicine, what we call wind, and expels wind from the exterior. So that herb is going straight to the exterior of our body, to the places where the pathogens are coming in, and it's expelling it from there. And at the same time, the lung is being strengthened to help fortify those defenses and strengthen the nasal passages and um, prevent bad things from getting in. And at the same time, the spleen is being strengthened to help support the whole body and especially the lungs. And so this is the type of treatment that may be useful if you have cases of getting sick frequently, runny noses all the time, allergies all the time. It may be because you have a lung weakness, a spleen weakness, maybe because you have wind on the exterior. And this is the type of formula that can treat that in a multi-pronged approach. And so there's a lot of other reasons why you can have regular runny noses in Chinese medicine and be getting sick all the time. This is an example of that. So when you come to the clinic, we always do a full assessment and see exactly what your cause is, and then we make the treatment appropriately. And a lot of times in these scenarios, we have to adjust the formulas. We might give different dosages of each herb. We probably will add other herbs in there as well, specifically for your condition. Usually for these types of treatments, it'll take, depending on how deficient you are, it can take a few months of just daily herbal teas to recuperate and to notice that you're not getting as sick as frequently and those recurrent colds and allergies are getting better. All right, we'll see you next time.